Live and in charge, people. It's your boy DRS. It's time for the Major League Baseball show presented by RightWager.com. Every single Monday through Friday, we do this powwow at 12 p.m. Eastern. Go over the latest games here, some options to fade some pitchers, and more importantly, at that topic here, we want to get after some teams here and also some false flags we can talk about today. What's good, boys? Welcome to the chat box. Just make sure everything is up at this point right now. And there we go. So I got myself on the full screen. And we're in. SC, yo, Darren Phillippe. What's good? Out here cashing some tickets, having some fun. Yesterday, the Philadelphia Phillies, they get a punch in the face. You get a punch in the face, Philadelphia Phillies, for what you did to me yesterday. Yeah, it cost me. Sometimes the monster in me wants to come out and just be like,
Alec Bohm, how slow can you be on a double down the line in the third inning, which would have given the Phillies 4 runs and cashed in a ticket?
That's how I feel today. That's how upset I am. That's how angry I am at this point. Matthew, what's up? What's up, Aaron? How's it going? Today on the card, doing my preliminary numbers earlier today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possible spots today. Fantastic. I always get excited when I see that. I think that's a legitimate chance that we can hammer away. But again, looking back on what we did last night, I thought I had some really good handicaps. Tanner Bybee was going to get smoked by Tampa. The environment wasn't even good, by the way. You're talking about 75 degrees maximum, maybe 70 degrees at first pitch, wind blowing in. Tampa absolutely smacked Kodai Senga against the Philadelphia Phillies. Smacked them. 4 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. Get out of town. The Phillies couldn't score again. Eduardo Rodriguez, the worst pitcher on the card, absolutely torched by the Brewers yesterday. Shane Smith's the one I got wrong. I got that one wrong. So I had 3 really good handicaps yesterday and 1 that was bad because Kansas City just couldn't get anything off of Shane Smith, man. Just dead on a rival game, man. What's up, Timmy Thomas, Remy boys? I got to get that drop in here, by the way. You know what I mean? I got a lot of good music in here, but I do think I need that drop. But I need to get the vibes back up today. Like, we got to start feeling good. Stop with the bad beat on the Phillies last night. Should have been a profitable night instead I lost money. Come on now, man. Enough with that nonsense. Stupid stuff out here. Dumb stuff. Just scroll down to make sure that we are out here across the streets and all our platforms that we like to do business on. Because I'll tell you one thing, there's something wrong with my ticker on Restream. Because when I go live, I can see myself right here on X. You know what I mean? 50 people watching currently, they're just tuned in on X. And, you know, other people obviously on YouTube's and other streams. But for my personal stream itself, I got to contact Restream. It doesn't show me the numbers here on X right now. But I know I am broadcasting on X. Let me just see and go into the edit channels for my info right now. I hope this doesn't take me off. But it shows on there and streaming to X. I just don't have the numbers coming up on X on my screen just to shout out to the people and say hello. But I know you guys, you're chatting about it at this point. So I can see you all out there. Absolutely. All right. So yesterday is done. Today's a new day. Really good card. If you look at some of the pitchers, just, you know, maybe staying away from, you do have some anomalies up top. Sean Manaea, not a very good pitcher, 5.15 ERA over the past 60 days. But his Sierra is a 3.16. His xFIP is a 360. He's got some pretty good peripheral numbers. Hurston Waldrop, and who just said that in the chat? Mixter. I'm telling you, this guy is something. What's up, Chops BX? This guy is something, man. You see his last 60 days in Major League Baseball? An ERA minus of 17? A FIP minus of 49? An xFIP minus of 76? An xFIP of 308? An ERA of .73? That guy's dealing in dollars out here, man. My goodness. Holy moly. Wow. Jacob Mizorowski's out here. He's a pretty good analytical guy, but from my numbers here, it doesn't make any sense. He's just not pitching deep enough for me. 6 ERA, but a low xFIP because he strikes guys out. I got to stay away from the Miz. Jesus Luzardo's up there. How about Michael Lorenzen? Chiming in last 60 days with a 2.70 ERA and an xFIP of 3.29. Flipping it to the bottom of the scales, if we're going bottom of the barrel, Tanner Gordon's always going to show up for Colorado. Mackenzie Gore is there. Lucas Giolito's there. Patrick Corbin's there. Mitch Keller and Andre Palante. Hint, hint. They're pitching against each other. So if I have 25 pitchers on my card and 21 and 22 are going toe-to-toe, that could be something you dip into. Nick Martinez, not great. Clayton Kershaw, not great. And Sandy Alcantara, certainly not great either. And then rounding it out there with Charlie Morton of the Detroit Tigers. Now, some things that we do take a look at, I'm not a huge side guy, as you guys know, but I always like to follow money and where lines are dropping and how things come into effect. There were 7 games on the card today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 games, which I thought were very interesting. Not necessarily from a handicapping perspective, but just where we're going with the lines. Take a look at that Boston-Baltimore line. 9-13, 9-14 on the rotation, a 6:35 start. Giolito versus Bradish today. 76% of the money line tickets are going towards Boston in this game. Line opened up overnight like a minus 110 either way. It still sits there, despite 76% of the money coming in on Boston. So if there's one of those false flags that we like to take a look at, that's one of those false flags. Like Baltimore, even though Bradish is coming back off of Tommy John surgery, has been terrible in the minors for the most part. That's one to keep an eye on. I'll tell you another one here. Heavy line. Nobody's betting on Washington. By the way, Washington was down 10-0 yesterday against the New York Yankees. Nobody's betting on Washington. Nobody wants to take them. Luis Gil's on the mound. He has struggled. But look at this line. Open up overnight, let's call it 188 at FanDuel. It now sits at 184 at FanDuel. It's like, well, that's not that big of a deal. Yeah, 9 out of 10 tickets are coming in on the Yankees. That line's not moving at all. Like usually when heavy numbers come in, they'll push that line all over the place. That line's not going anywhere. So I'm writing these down because I do want to track these to see how they go. And I should have bought my handy dandy. You know what? I can't use this right now. Some fancy footwork right here. All right. So if we get a couple things to look at, I'm going to write down Baltimore. These are the false flag games. All right. Number 1 is Baltimore. I'm just going to write down the price point that we have middle of the afternoon. Let's call it a minus 110 price, both sides. But right now, 76% of the tickets on Boston. So we've got 76% public fade, which equates to, actually, no, we'll do it the opposite way. 24% of the tickets coming in on Baltimore. Number 2, Mackenzie Gore and Luis Gil. Mackenzie Gore stinks. Like, that guy stinks out loud. We don't have a lot of information yet on Luis Gil because he hasn't been back long enough at this point. But my God, that line's not moving at all. 11% coming in on Washington. And that line is currently sitting, let's just call it, let's keep it at FanDuel, plus 154. Plus 154 and 11%. About that game. Now, if we ship it over to another one, Minnesota and Toronto. That's Ober and it's Bassett. You look at the lines opening up overnight, minus 162 or so. They're now going higher to minus 174. So this line actually is moving in the right direction, so we won't call that. But Bassett is the favorite. Bassett's increasing, and 9 out of every 10 tickets right now coming in on Bassett, as opposed to Minnesota. So that game doesn't officially qualify anymore. We'll take that one out. Because I was looking at these just about an hour ago, and things obviously change throughout the day. Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Mets. We'll double down on some of these games, too, as we go back and take a look at some things that we like. Luzardo and Minaya. Luzardo on the card today, last 60 days, not bad, number 4. Minaya's number 1. But he doesn't have a ton of innings pitched. Let me just see what Minaya has over the past 60 days. Check out his dashboard. Minaya has 36 innings pitched over the past 60 days. 5.15 ERA. That's so interesting, though. That's why I love the analytics versus the ERA crowd, per se. Man, it's so fascinating to watch that play out. Because if we're just looking at, like, Sierra numbers or XFIP numbers, like, Minaya is way up there. ERA of 5.15 for the past 60 days, and he's the best pitcher on the card analytically with Sierra. That's incredible stuff, man. It is. That's absolutely incredible. But if we do look at the lines here, Luzardo's up there as well, I told you. But this line was roughly minus 110 again, depending on the Philadelphia Phillies or the Mets overnight. 87% of the tickets coming in on the Philadelphia Phillies. So technically, again, that's a Mets game. So we'll go NYM. We'll go, let's just call it again, minus 110 price. And only 13% of the tickets coming in on the New York Mets. That's wild. Now, here's one that sometimes you can't really extrapolate all that much of the information from because the line is so high, nobody's probably going to bet it higher. Colorado with Tanner Gordon, he's a bad pitcher, told you. Like, we're just looking at some of his analytical numbers. Damn near dead last on a lot of these things today. He is pitching today going up against, where we have it here, Hunter Brown, much better pitcher. I have Hunter Brown 11th on my card. Good analytics, 3.53 ERA, and so forth. But if we are looking at the numbers, a minus 390 price overnight for the Houston Astros. That's dipped down to 360. 94% of the tickets coming in on Houston. So 6% of the money line is on Colorado. So if we down Colorado, plus, and what's the best price point we're looking at there? Phew, man, plus 300. Jesus. Such a high number, man. It just is. And they have, let's see, 6% of the money line tickets coming in so far. Another game to look at tonight. And again, these are the lopsided ones because you said nobody in their right mind's taking the one side. But also, you have to understand where those price points are actually hovering around. And that's Detroit and the A's. Charlie Morton's on the mound. Not a great pitcher. I got Morton, 16th out of 25 pitchers on the card today? Bido was on the mound. And he doesn't have a lot of statistics here over the past. You know what? Let me do something with Bido here because it doesn't really matter who the pitcher is necessarily. But he was one of those guys I think we were fading early in the year. His game log. So he just doesn't have 20 innings pitched. It's all short numbers. Last time out against Minnesota, 3 innings pitched, 1 earned run. 1 innings pitched against the Angels. 3 2/3 against Tampa. So more of a bullpen game today for Bido. But if we're just looking at the numbers itself, line opened up at minus 144 overnight at FanDuel in the favor of the Detroit Tigers. Minus 126s, minus 27s in the landscape. Only 22% of the tickets coming in on the A's, and that number is dropping. So we'll write down the A's, and we'll get a price point of, let's see, plus 108 at FanDuel. We'll keep that number there. And only 22% of the moneyline tickets coming in that way. I'm just looking at these off of Sports Insights here, Choppy X, on the old platform, not the new one there. It really goes through Action Network, but I've had it for so long. I'm sort of grandfathered in on the old stuff because that just fits my eye for my shows. But that's where some of these numbers are coming in. And also, and it takes across the board. It's not just like, hey, it goes to Fan. Because usually on FanDuel, you can check to see what the numbers are. You can check DraftKings. I don't know if DraftKings shows it. I know FanDuel does under the statistics here. But then if we look late night, Nick Martinez and Clayton Kershaw. 89% of the tickets coming in on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Price opened up overnight, minus 200. FanDuel dropped it to 188. DraftKings 186. 190 BetMGM. 183 Bet365. Only 11% of the tickets coming in on the Reds. So if we go 6, we'll go Reds. And we'll track this one at it's a pretty good price point, plus 158 on FanDuel. And that coming in with only 11% of the tickets. So the object is, and this usually works a lot better in the month of April because nobody really knows who's anything. So, hey, the public's going out and betting the best pitchers and they're driving those prices around. They're not moving. That's a clear sign. So if we're looking at Baltimore, Washington, New York, that's the Mets, Colorado, the Athletics, and the Reds tonight as those false flag games to sort of keep an eye on. That's something to view. I think that makes a lot of sense where it's like, okay, see how these games go out. And I told you, I'm not a really big, a player of sides because there's just too much volatility in the marketplace. It just is. NFL cut day, just watching some of these, bums get cut. Just send out a tweet. Just send it to me at Eagles are releasing Anaya Smith, 5th-round pick from last year. Ain't no surprise on this. Just wait. You know what I mean? Just wait. Just wait for later in the day. Give me the full list, and we'll see if there's any big names on there. All right. So let's get back to the business today. So false flag games, 6 of them. Baltimore, Washington, New York Mets, Colorado, A's, and Reds. We'll see what they go. And I'll keep a track of those as the weeks go on. Because sometimes you're just looking for a fun game to bet. You're just going to go against the public and fade them. You don't get any points with the money line, so they better win that baseball game outright. But you'll see those do their fair share, specifically in April. You have those false flags all the time. Hey, first week of the season, Yankees have your favorite, minus 200 price. Yeah, why is 90% of the public on the Yankees at minus 200, and that line isn't going anywhere or even dropping? Those are the signs that you take a look at for the false flag stuff. Nothing in the afternoon, which I really like. I don't want anything in the afternoon. I want to study up on some of these numbers and some of these teams. So if we take a look at Boston and get back to these games, not just looking at the false flag or the side of it here, you got Giolito and Bradish. I got Giolito, guys, 23rd on my card today. Now, here's the interesting part. His ERA minus is an 80. His FIP minus is a 112. His xFIP minus is a 114. Those numbers are elevated outside of the ERA minus. And this is since July 1st. Giolito's ERA is a 3.42, which is actually good. xFIP number 4.77, danger territory 4.80, Sierra number. That will get you in trouble. If we're looking from a starting lineup perspective, looking at Baltimore, Jackson, Henderson, Mountcastle, Cowser, Beavers, and Machine. Giolito has struggled with left-handed batters. Holliday's a lefty. Henderson's a lefty. Cowser's a lefty. Bacello is a lefty. Beavers, oh, that's a lot of them. Hold on. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left-handed batters expected to be in that lineup, and that's where Giolito has struggled a bit. 75-degree temperatures and also wind blowing out to right field. That's something that you like to see. Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Kyle Bradish, don't have any statistics. He probably gets hit around. I thought Boston actually would get some runs last night. They did. They scored 4 off of Sugano. Sugano had one metric that was actually very good, which I wanted to stay away. But they did tune him up eventually, and then couldn't get too much out of the bullpen. Tampa and Cleveland today. One on that game yesterday. Boz versus Messick. Messick, not a lot of information on. If we look at Shane Boz, he's coming in the 7th on the card. Look, his ERA is 6.85, but his analytical xFIP is 3.62. Strikeout numbers are pretty good. Not necessarily a ground ball pitcher. Hard contact. Barrel rates high. Stinky lineup, though, for the Cleveland Guardians. Always tough to back them. Parker Messick, not going after him. Back-to-back days where you saw the Tampa Bay Rays really coming to the plate. And that's not a hitting environment in Cleveland at all. They showed up last night. Don't love that game. Atlanta and Miami. Hurston Waldrop. I'm telling you, if you were just looking to take a wager today on a price point that's like, all right, well, they're on the road to Miami, they're not playing good baseball. I get it. But this kid has been fantastic, man. 3.25 Sierra, 0.73 ERA over the past 60 days, ERA minus at 17. It's not a great lineup on a night-to-night basis for Miami. And just look at the numbers. 28% K rate, low walk rate, ISO at a .024, weighted on base percentage of .185. He's been spectacular. Then also the numbers are going in the right direction, right? Atlanta is the favorite. They opened up at 118 at FanDuel. They're at 130 right now at FanDuel. Most outlets between 131 and 125. 71% of the tickets coming in on Atlanta. I still like Atlanta in this game. It's moving in the right direction. I think it does make some sense. Boz. Yeah, how about that Shane Bozzy? Yeah, forget about that. All right, we'll keep moving along. Washington and New York. Here's a chance that we have today. Yeah, Chops BX, man. I'm telling you, that kid's good, man. Hurston Waldrop, unless you're just playing fair. Hey, sooner than later, has to have a bad start in Major League Baseball. I hear you. I'm not doing it. Mackenzie Gore absolutely stinks. Right-handed batters should be stacking today, and they are. Estimated starting lineup today for the New York Yankees has Bellinger as a lefty, who hits lefties quite well, and Austin Wells, who doesn't. That's 2. That means 7 batters from the right side. That's where Gore struggles. 73-degree temperatures in New York. Some way, shape, or form, we're going to find those Yankees on our roster tonight. Some way, shape, or form, we're going to do that. Luis Heel, only 85 batters that he's faced. I don't have 20 innings pitched at a Heel over the past 2 months, but he's been getting corked as well. Maybe look at a total in that Yankees game here. Maybe. Minnesota and Toronto. Ober and Bassett. Ober on my card, 9th overall, 4.09 ERA, which you don't like too much, but his analytical numbers look pretty good, 3.88 xFIP number. Good-looking lineup for Toronto there. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. back there. That's always nice. 63-degree temperatures. You like that to be a little bit warmer, but again, it's in Toronto. Maybe they closed the roof, but Canadians in the summer, 63. That's probably going to be open. Chris Bassett on the other side struggles with lefties. He's going to get his fair share of lefties tonight. And Bassett on my card is coming in the 13th overall pitcher. Decent ERA. It's under 4. xFIP number, it's okay. Analytically okay. Buxton, Larnach, Lee, Keyshaw, and Wallner, along with James Outman, good numbers here. But I just told you, lefties do some damage against Bassett. Larnach, Wallner, probably the best of the bunch now. Outman's very good in the 9th, but I would be surprised if Larnach, my goodness, these teams' names are tongue twisters. And Matt Wallner makes some sense on RBI shots. Yeah, Chops, I do think that the Yankees have a legitimate chance to get their number tonight. It just stacks up that way. But I do think Minnesota also can hit Bassett. What's the total in this game for Minnesota? 8.5? Why can't we get some runs in that game? Philadelphia, New York. Let's go back to the scene of the crime. And I'm still angry. Like, I am still
really mad. The fact that you can have 3 runs scored by the 3rd inning, double down the line with 2 outs, runner on first base, and not score that run. Then go into the top of the 4th inning, 8 and 9 batters both get on base, nobody out, Trey Turner at the plate. The Phillies then go down 1, 2, 3, and away you go.
You know what I mean? Phillies a huge disappointment. What's up, LBT wins? Amen. Getting after it. Phillies were a huge disappointment. And it's one of those where, because, being a handicapper, the money is fun, yes, when you win. But the adulation of just picking a winner and that your handicap comes through, sometimes just even better. And the reason I say that is when you look and say, because I'm holding my phone, I'm watching the game itself. Saul Boehm get the single with 2 outs to drive in 2 runs on second and third. I'm like, yes, that's 3 runs. That triggers an alt-team total parlay, but one more run, we cash this in straight. And Brandon Marsh was at the plate. I'm like, he's probably going to strike out. What's he going to do? You couldn't have placed, outside of a home run, a better hit in the Major League ballpark to score a run. There's 2 outs. And anybody that's played baseball, you're taking a very good secondary lead because the pitcher's probably not worried about you anyway. You're not stealing a base. The ball is hit, you take off immediately. And sometimes you see doubles down the line that are hit rockets and get great bounces off the wall and right to the players. What did you want him to do? But this one was that, let me reach out and stroke this ball down the right field line. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Comes up off the wall. Catch the ball. Turn and throw it in. And all I'm waiting for Tom McCarthy, the Phillies announcer, to say, all right, Boehm rounds third, he'll score 4-0 Phillies. And they stopped him at third base. And I'm saying, you got to be kidding me, man. So again, there was second and third, which they get another base hit. They end up with 5 runs. But Jesus Christ, you'd rather them get thrown out at the plate at that point. 2 outs, I'm telling you right now, I will never fault a third base coach for sending a guy home that's out by 5 feet with 2 outs. Because the chances of somebody coming up behind and driving those guys home is nil at that point. What's up, RP? How you doing, man? Absolutely nil. But tonight, Jesus Luzardo's got good numbers. I don't really like these sides either way. Normally you say, okay, Donnie, just go after torch Minaya. He's terrible against right-handed batters. His ERA is high, but he's got that low Sierra number, which is driving me nuts. A lower XFIP number, it's driving me nuts. But there are pitchers on today that are better fade chances. Back-to-back days. Because the Phillies, by the way, guys, I think it was 3 of 17 with runners in scoring position the past 2 days, and 17 batters left on base, and we had them both days. That sucks. That never should happen. And that's why you get so passionate sometimes, because you can pick, I told you, my Royals pick was crap yesterday. Crap. And you can admit to it. When you get also ones on the other side that should hit easily and don't, those are the ones that get on your nerves. You have a crappy, you know what? They scored 4 runs because they hit 2 2-run home runs. And the only runners they had on base were the home runs. They're all right, well, I got a little bit lucky on that. You're not supposed to get unlucky when you have those many chances with runners in scoring positions. But it is what it is. Happens, right? Happens. Brandon Pfault's on the mound today, going up against Jacob Mizorowski. I don't have any action because Mizorowski's a mess. He's got a 6.35 ERA past 60 days, but a low XFIP number. Make it make sense. It doesn't. He's a strikeout pitcher. Lineup looks good for Arizona. I get it. Perdomo, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll. Does make some sense out there. Castellanos tonight, says Morgan Alexander. How about that? 1+ HRR. I better do something tonight. And again, if you're just lining up right, left-handed pitcher versus right-handed batter, makes some sense. Brandon Pfaadt on the mound. The Brewers are just hot across the board. I see Brandon Pfaadt. And where do I have Brandon lining up? 15th on my card out of 25. He's on the borderline of getting faded. And sometimes I just got to say this. I don't have him written down, but look at the lineup for the Brewers tonight as it presents itself to right-handed pitching. Frelick, 200 ISO. Contreras, 279. Yelich, 288. Vaughn, 206. Collins, 255. Turang, 426. We took them last night, and they hit easily. They probably do it again tonight. Just a hot team, man. Brewers are just kicking tail out there. It's fun to watch. It's fun to bet. Kansas City and Chicago. Lorenz and Perez. Martin Perez. I think I had Martin Perez the other day, maybe an all-team total parlay, which ended up losing, going up against the Braves like he was dealing. Come on now. Stop it. Sooner or later, he's going to get blown away, but he doesn't have enough statistics to be yes, that's the day it's going to happen. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a second. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kansas City got shut out yesterday. So if Kansas City just scored 2 runs, would have had another profitable day because it wouldn't have hit their team total, but would have clinched the all parlay, which would have hit 4 times around. That didn't happen. Pissed me off as well, but it is what it is. And again, in that game, they had one of those, hey, Bobby Witt's coming up next. Hold the guy at third base. Yeah, Bobby Witt struck out or popped out. They got no runs yesterday. You know for a fact today, Non-handicap, they're torching Martin Perez. You're going to get one of those games where the Royals have 4 runs by the second inning. You're like, yeah, it makes sense. It absolutely does. Absolutely makes sense. Brutality. The epitome of brutality. But from a White Sox side, they've got some pretty good offense. They had it last night. Michael Lorenzen, though, good numbers, I told you. 2.70 ERA past 60 days. I like that lineup for Chicago. It's a shame that we have Lorenzen on the one side. 68-degree temperatures, don't love 7-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. You do like that a little bit more. 7:45 start tonight, Pittsburgh and St. Louis. Palante 20th on my card, Keller 21st. Both of these lineups absolutely stink. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters, guys. The 8s across the board. Why are we getting 8 runs tonight? This game screams 5-4. Screams 5-4. Hate both of the lineups. Pitchers stink out loud, though. 466 xFIP, 447 xFIP. Sierra numbers high. ERA's high. ERA minus, FIP minus, xFIP minus, all high. Both of these guys. That game's going over 8. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind that game's going over 8. Not a single doubt. Angels and the Rangers tonight. I'm telling you, Mount Morgan. I'm telling you right now. Cardinals, lineup stinks, don't matter. Lineup stunk last night for both those teams, don't matter. They're going to hit tonight. They're going to hit. Angels, Rangers from Texas. Dome's going to be closed. Doesn't matter if it's 83-degree temperatures. They ain't opening up that bad boy down there. Ain't happening. Lineup doesn't look great for Texas, but my focus really is going to be on Los Angeles because Patrick Corbin stinks. 5 ERA. xFIP numbers are high. Analytical numbers are high. Sierra's at a 4.66. Neto, Ward, Adele, and Bryce Teodosio? However you say that name. Not a great lineup, but sometimes just fading the pitcher, and I think Corbin gets attacked tonight in that game. Colorado and Houston, what else do you want me to tell you, people? This line is extremely high for a reason. Very good pitcher versus a tomato can. But by the way, did that tomato can, Tanner Gordon, what did he do last game? I think he pitched. Did he pitch decently? Or am I just, going over the wrong game? He did. After he got hit in Arizona, he gave up 10 earned runs in Arizona, 4 2/3 innings pitched. 12. He gave up 12 hits out of 27 batters. It means everybody, almost every other plate appearance dealt with a base hit and a run. That's what it was, man. That's wild times. It's wild times. But he pitched really well against the Dodgers at home. He held the Dodgers to 1 run at Coors. I don't care. I got a guy that doesn't strike anybody out, and I got an Astros lineup that doesn't strike out, and Yordan Alvarez is expected to be back tonight. Could that be big? He's had some pretty good rehab starts. That game's going to be a Swiss Army knife game, just blowing right through. Seattle and San Diego, nothing for me. Dylan Cease versus Luis Castillo. Pitchers that could be better. They actually got a lot of runs last night in Seattle. They really did. Chicago Cubs and the San Francisco Giants. Matthew Boyd's on the mound. It's not really a guy I want to fade. He's been decent this year. Verlander does stink, but so does that Chicago Cubs lineup, too. Not a great hitting environment tonight. They should score some runs. Chicago, don't get me wrong, but I just don't like it. Line's going in the right direction. They open up at 126, now sits at 138, 140s. Heavy ticket count on Chicago. That's going in the right direction. Morton and Bido. This one is interesting to me because Charlie Morton on my card isn't disastrous. He's 16 out of 25. But it does have slightly high analytical numbers. ERA minus, FIP minus, and xFIP minus. ERA's 4.35, not great to say the least. xFIP number, not great, 4.37. And Sierra number on the borderline of being below average. Kurtz, Langoliers, Rooker, Soderstrom, and Jacob Wilson now back in line, which really helps that lineup. They got some power. They should be able to do damage against Charlie Morton in that little clown college atmosphere out there. Osvaldo Bido. This game probably gets over the total. What is the total anyway? 11. Woo! Need 12 to cash that ticket, man. Fade the Stros tonight. Rockies in a 1-run game, 4-3. Okay. I don't know, man. I'm thinking Houston hits tonight. I think a big Yordy in the middle of that lineup might be popping when he comes back. Last game of the night, Dodgers and the Reds. Nick Martinez, that's a guy I probably want to fade. Ohtani's probably going yard tonight, so is Freddie Freeman. Alex Freeland, by the way, really good numbers too. Sneaky, if you want to include him there in a hit parlay, HRR parlay. I think that makes sense. I think you can get some squeeze out of that, no doubt about it. But here's what I got today, as we said, on those false flag games. And I just want to watch it play out. I'm going to track these as the season goes on. Baltimore, Washington, New York Mets, Colorado A's, and the Reds. Just heavy ticket counts in the opposite direction and not a lot of line movement going a certain way. I think they make sense. But there are pitchers on this card, which I don't want to outsmart myself, but some guys I just might want to fade because the lineups look really sweet out there. But the usual suspects are in there tonight. Nick Martinez, Mackenzie Gore, Patrick Corbin, Mitch Keller, Andre Palante, Tanner Gordon, and Charlie Morton. Just have to find the right scenario. Probably going to be a high-volume night, which I love. Yeah, Mookie Betts got to bounce out sometime, Morgan. Like, some things just should be able to work out in our favor. The only thing I'm going to decide on is how we're actually going to go with alt team totals tonight. 1, 2, maybe 3, and pair them up 2 by 2 and go 2 and 1. Or do we just let it sink in? Because I had 1.5. Like, I just needed the Royals to get 2 runs yesterday. They stunk. And I can't cry over spilled milk. That was a bad handicap. Just the Phillies game pissed me off so much. Because you went from winning money to losing money when you should have won money. That's the worst feeling. I can deal getting my ass kicked. Like, I can deal say, oh, man, Donnie went 0 for 8 last night. I'm like, yeah, they're all 8 bad handicaps, too. Like, you get a good night's sleep out of that. You don't get good night's sleep when you should have won games that you didn't win. And that sometimes happens there, and it just, pisses you off in the long term. But that's where we're looking at today. So we got good action on the card, previewed some things, some runs that we should get. Not the greatest hitting environment. So what I mean by that is like the weather conditions. Boy, I really miss some of those mid-July, early August games, 85, 90-degree temperatures. We'll probably get those, summer, late summer cruise control environments. They'll be nice to see. But there's no reason tonight that this isn't profitable. Absolutely zero reason for that. So that's where we'll go. That's a Tuesday show. Got a lot of stuff to determine this afternoon. We'll have some fun doing it. But once again, best chat box in the business. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. Really appreciate it. And the best part is, man, we'll be back tomorrow. Right at noon doing it all over again. And by the way, let me see tomorrow. Okay, let me see. We got a nice card. We got 3 games at 1 o'clock and a game at 4 o'clock. And then some night action. And then, by the way, Thursday's card, afternoon, night. Try to hold on, people. All right, let me get out of here. Get down to some business. Thanks for tuning in, boys. We'll be back tomorrow. Like, share, respond, whatever you got to do. Show some support of the show. I appreciate it. Peace.